Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you my personal results of a food sensitivity testing that I just did for my husband and I. And I did this test a while ago and was anxious to see if some of my sensitivities have changed since they can over time. And I was really excited to get some of my results back. So I wanted to share these with you. And so something that's different about this testing is it tests not only for the IgG antibody, but also it tests for the complement of the C3d, which shares more of what's causing inflammation in your body. So it's a little more accurate than some of the other tests that are out there. And so that's why I really enjoy this company. So if you look, my results, number one was a lot of additives and stevia. This was super interesting to me because I don't have sugar, and so I've used stevia as a substitute. However, sometimes when you eat a lot of one thing, you can develop a sensitivity to it. Some other things that were higher reactions for me were cow's milk. That didn't surprise me. Aspartame, lettuce, trout, Brazil nut, shrimp. Some of these didn't really surprise me, but let me just show you a little bit about this is the Fit 176, and so this is going to be really comprehensive. This just came out. So it's 176 foods and additives and other things like candida that have been tested through using a blood spot. And so as I look at my list, I love it because it shows the degree of how much of a sensitivity I have to it currently. Interestingly enough, casein, my body was saying it was fine with, but it's the cow's milk. So any, kind of butter or dairy products. And I know this. I haven't touched dairy for a couple of years, and it's probably one of those things my body will just not tolerate for the rest of my life, and that's okay. There's plenty other alternatives. But something exciting is that eggs were really high on my last one. They had quite a bit of a reaction, and those are normal again. So I'm going to try eggs again. I'm super excited about that. Interesting enough, gluten, wheat showed as not a reaction in my body, which I still avoid gluten just because it's a natural inflammatory food. But it's just good to know that, if I were to come in contact with it, my body's going to be okay with it. Interesting enough, I do have like a lot of oat milk, oat-based products like cereal. So I'm going to avoid that for a while. But I look at all these fruits. This is fabulous because on my old test, I definitely had some fruits that I was sensitive to. So I'm just going to eat the rainbow. Really, my area that I found is the additives. My body just does not like these additives. Aspartame. I don't eat these things, at least knowingly. Benzoic acid, BHA, saccharin vinegar, yellow number 6. Interesting enough, though, these all have a cross-reactivity with stevia. And so sometimes there's foods that have a cross-reactivity, meaning a similar structure as other foods. And so they recommend avoiding anything with a similar food structure for a while as you're eliminating things. And so some of the cross-reactivity to these things is like cinnamon and curcumin and ginger, which I've always felt like cinnamon just doesn't quite sit well with me. So it's interesting to see. I was a little bit surprised lettuce came up. That's kind of a bummer, right? Like to eat salads, but for now, this doesn't mean this is my destiny, but for now, I'm just going to avoid lettuce and sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes, but I just had an inkling they probably didn't love me as much. But it's just good to know these things. And black beans for me, hops. I don't drink, I don't have hops on a regular basis, but it does have a cross-reactivity to like herbal teas or hemp seeds. So it could be that the body's responding to something like that too. Trout has a cross-reactivity to salmon. Salmon is something that I do eat. Brazil nuts, I actually do eat those. They're a great source of selenium, but my body is saying right now, let's avoid that. I don't eat pine nuts or pistachios, but my body is saying those are things I would like to avoid right now. The extracts were good. Stevia, again, that's the one that really surprised me, but because everything I eat that's fun that I eat now has stevia in it, so I'll just find some alternatives. Chicken, that surprised me too, but I'm not a big beef eater, and so we tend towards chicken more, but for now, again, not my destiny, but I'm just going to avoid some chicken, flaxseed, quinoa, and then shrimp. I had a feeling shrimp just didn't settle always well with me. But that's a quick overview of the Fit 176, and something that I think is really cool too, that is for me to see some shifts that have been made in my body. And that's why it's important to keep retesting every so often, maybe every year or two. For example, Candida right here was very high for me last time, and I really worked on my gut health, and it's exciting to see that that's in range again. And so I don't have to worry about that as much. So these are things that are just a guide to say it's all about inflammation. And so this is, your body only has so much it can kind of hold, and you may be able to eat things like gluten and whatnot, but the more inflammation you put into your body, the more it's going to be unable to contain that. And so eventually something kind of breaks over and you start having symptoms, you start having stomach aches or headaches or skin issues. And so this is a really specific test to you that shows that the foods and the things that you are sensitive to, because these, can be good things. Lettuce is a good thing, but for me right now, my body is saying that is causing some inflammation. And so I don't want to keep eating something that's going to cause more inflammation into my body or for my body. So I recommend getting a food sensitivity kit really to anybody that's looking to reduce inflammation, to see if their food sensitivities are really a culprit for a lot of their issues. I've seen it be so helpful for people. And it may not be the thing that fixes everything for you, but it can be, it's not going to be a waste, because you're zoning on the things that are causing inflammation, reducing that. And so if you are interested in getting a food sensitivity test done, I can do that for you. And I would love to be able to see what foods and, cross-reactivity foods, you could be consuming that we could help just, tweak your diet so that you can be at optimal health. So I hope this was helpful, interesting, and hopefully we can get some of you to try it out as well.